The 2023 NFL Draft has concluded. Your Bengals ended up making 8 picks after a trade back in round 3, using that extra pick to draft a punter. Yes. If you've been watching the show since the AFC Championship game, you know that has been something that's very important to me. I'm glad they spent the pick on a punter. And I think he'd be the favorite to win the job. That's Brad Robbins out of Michigan. We won't spend a lot of time on him, so we can mention him now because he's a punter, and I don't know anything about punting other than you kick the ball and hope there's no return. But the Bengals are getting good grades for their 2023 class. I don't know that I agree with that. I think they had an average class. I think they had an average haul. I'll start with that, and, get the bad out of there right away. I think it was average. I think it has potential to be an above average group. I do see the upside in a lot of these picks. We're going to spend time today talking about 2 guys because I got to string this out a little bit. We're going to spend 10 minutes on each of the 2 guys today. That'll be Myles Murphy and Charlie Jones, the defensive end out of Clemson and the wide receiver out of Purdue through Iowa and Buffalo. I almost said UB because that's my home area. 2 guys that I've got questions about, that the profile says don't be as excited as you should be. Not that it's negative, because I like both guys, but the data is telling me to chill out a little bit on them, which we should talk about. So the data tells me to chill out, and we're going to talk about why that is and how that is and what we should do about it after we watch the tape. The first guy up is Myles Murphy from Clemson, who the Bengals picked at 28th overall. Many had him as a 15 to 20 player, and they're saying, great value, Bengals. I had him after that. I had him graded as an early second-round pick. So I don't see the value, but I still like the player. Let's take a look. Myles Murphy will be wearing number 98 for Clemson. You'll see him right there. He's inside of the tackle. Get a little pop on the guard. He's going to kick inside a little bit for the Bengals. He's 268 pounds at the combine. I think he got up to 275. He looks like he could carry 280. So I'm excited about him getting inside. You see the natural strength and run defense right there, right? As he gets inside that left tackle. Now, this is the 2021 Boston College game. I didn't say that right away because I want to set this up. Because there's a narrative about his changing coaching and things like that. And I wanted to put on 2 Boston College games, one from 2021 and then one from 2022 to see if we can see the change in coaching or the change in the entire team or any difference or development in his game. Tries to go inside there, just bowls over the left tackle. Nice power out of Myles Murphy. You'll see that a lot with him. He is a powerful player when his technique is on and he stays low. That's a tight end there, so we only give him a little bit of credit. But in this game, he had 48 snaps. He had 5 pressures, 2 sacks, and 3 defensive stops. Here's a tackle for a loss as he's the unblocked defender on the left side that time, which we like to see the versatility of him moving around even though he took the vast majority of his snaps at right defensive end. You see the power again. He gets underneath this guy, bowls him over. But you'll notice both times now, it's only a pressure. He doesn't turn it into a sack. He isn't able to disengage here at the point and stay on his feet. And you'll see that a few times. On the right side again, 6'5", 33 3/4 inch arms. Myles Murphy is good against the run. I think he's PFF's top run defending edge for the last 3 years. You see it again here. Sets the edge really well. I think that's where he can make a impact early for the Bengals. Good get off here. Goes for the rip move. Gets around the corner. This is about a 3-second sack. So the quarterback probably should have got rid of it. But this is a good move. Hit him with the power. Rip and get around. Cut that corner. Have the strength to do it. Go for the ball. I like this rush out of Myles Murphy. He gets this guy. This is his first of 2 sacks on the night. On this rush, the tackle comes in, gets his hands inside. Really gets him to widen out his rush a little bit. We get to see Myles Murphy inside, D-tackle. He's in between the right tackle, right guard. Pushes him into, and then can't make the tackle. I can't tell if he didn't disengage in time or if he wasn't able to wrap him up in time. Another run stop for him as he gets underneath the right guard, pops him up, helps get the tackle for a loss. We can see him rush from the left side. This is the Sam Hubbard side, if you're wondering. Going against the tight end. And he's going to get his second sack of the day, although it's against a tight end, and he almost lost him a little bit there. So it is what it is, and that's why I wanted to point out some of his sacks are not the highest quality after watching 5 games of the previous year and then going to 2021. You see here, hand battling with the right tackle. Couldn't get the first contact. The right tackle gets contact to the chest. He spends the rest of the play trying to fight him off. He's a little double teamed there. I still like the effort in getting the hand up in the quarterback's face. A lot of pass rushes from this side. It doesn't happen in the next game. Again, same thing, fighting with the right tackle, and we move on to 2022. Unblocked defender from the line. He reads the reverse all the way, helps make a tackle for a loss. In this game, Myles Murphy had 41 snaps, 3 pressures, 1 quarterback hit, which I think is right there. He doesn't bring the guy down for whatever reason. You know, defenders are scared of hitting the quarterback sometimes. He gets 2 stops in this game, 2 defensive stops. You see him rushing there, really wide around the arc, never really gets back inside. Here he is at D tackle, sort of. He's at the 3-tech spot. He's going to loop around and sort of get a pressure, maybe. He did end up getting free. I'm not sure if that's one of the 3 that they gave him credit for. He's going to go around, use the long arm stab, and try and power this guy and turn it into a finesse move around the outside. When he knocks this arm down, he's just too slow at it, too late. It's just not a good plan, not a good pass rush plan there for Myles Murphy. Run defense stop here for him as he sheds off the tight end, chases down the running back, and makes a play. A couple yards downfield, but you still got to do that. They left him unblocked, kind of like a trap play where they let the running back pick him up, and he barrels right into him and then just hits the ground with him. We've seen him on the ground a few times now after he barrels over the attempted blocker. Trying with some power and then going with the rip move again. It's like we showed before where he won last time. He didn't get it this time. Going for the outside. I would have liked to have seen that play longer developing. I think the O-lineman short set because he knew the ball was coming out. And then we get the long arm that he loves for the last play there. So some of my concerns with the young Myles Murphy, 21.3, the youngest guy they drafted this year, in an old group, man. That's part of the data that I'm struggling with. But one of my biggest issues with Murphy is his data profile. He's young, he's athletic. Normally, I'm into that. I don't need to know much more than that. Then take that bet. He's got high upside. But the data says he doesn't have high upside. The data says he's probably just going to be a good player, a solid defender, a good run defender, maybe just an okay pass rusher. The data actually compares him a lot to an athletic Sam Hubbard, which I think we don't take. So that's the thing. When I say I'm a little more down on these guys, or my excitement's a little more subdued, it's just setting a realistic expectation. If he ended up being an athletic Sam Hubbard, I think we'd all be into that. I think everyone would be happy. Now, if you expect him to be a multi-time Pro Bowler or All-Pro, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say he's some freak athlete. I wouldn't say he's got unlimited upside. And now the data, again, I'll get to it. Things like his pass rush win rate. 14.4% this last year at Clemson. It wasn't much better in the previous 2 years either. He's in the bottom tier of pass rush win rate. And then you go to true pass sets, which take out screens and everything else, so your percentage should go up. It's 17.4%. Again, one of the lowest in this class. It took me a few years going back to look at other defensive ends that were very similar in both pass rush win rate and true pass rush win rate. The only guy I found was Clavon Chason, who went 20th overall out of LSU to the Jags. They just declined his 5th-year option because I think he's got 3 sacks in 3 years so far. The other guy so I kept digging. All right, who else? There's got to be someone good. The next guy that came up, Sam Hubbard. And we know we like Sam Hubbard out of Ohio State, but he was a 3rd-round pick because he wasn't as explosive as Myles Murphy, and he wasn't as young either. So that makes Myles Murphy a 1st-round pick? Fine. There's a couple other things that show up in his production profile. He had 15 sacks the last 2 years in 9 games. So 15 sacks the last 2 years. They came in just 9 games. There's a lot of games where you cut on the tape like that first Boston College game. You cut on the tape and he just dominates. And I don't even say he dominated in that game. So don't. Like there's other games where he definitely does. 15 sacks in 9 games. which means 0 sacks in 17 other games. It's like he's either on or off. They're going to have to figure out a way to get it consistently on. But if you see him and you go all the way back, so his first year, 5-star recruit, super athletic, everyone loved him, really good against the run right away. And then Clemson was like, okay, we're going to teach him how to rush the passer. He never really learned how to do it. He doesn't have a pass rush plan. He really doesn't have a move other than the long arm, and then sometimes he tries to turn it into like a club rip. That's it. There's not much wiggle to his game. There's not much bend to his game. And I think technique is still an issue for him. So he's going to have to develop. There's going to be a lot of develop for him to turn into a good pass rusher. So I think he's going to split with Trey Hendrickson on the right side, and maybe Osai and Hubbard split on the left side. That way he gives you one good run defender, one good pass rusher on each side. And we'll see where Myles Murphy is in a couple years. The next guy is Charlie Jones. This is a different situation. So I liked Murphy a little bit less on tape than the consensus. I like Charlie Jones a little bit more than the consensus on tape. He runs tremendous routes. All right, we won't do that. We won't do that. We'll put on the tape first, and then we'll say what we like and the concerns we have with the data profile after this. Charlie Jones, number 15 here, going against Penn State. Gets a quick slant to start the game. This is his first game with Purdue, and he's going against Joey Porter Jr. here. Just beats him off the line, makes a nice catch on the slant. He ends up getting 18 targets in this game, his first game with Purdue. 12 catches, 153 yards, and a touchdown. 3 for 6 in contested situations, 8 first downs, 1 penalty against him, but you see him on the right side there. Is he going to come across the field, understands how to slip by those guys, stay clean in traffic, right, and catch a ball with the defender right on his back. So you'll see this a lot with Jones. He understands coverages right there, realizes what they're doing, that they're blitzing, and it's going to be a potential safety over the top situation, and how he's got to run this route, get to the sideline, create a little bit of space, and as the safety's coming over, make the catch. Don't let the ball fall to you because you're probably going to get crushed if you do that. Really sells this like it's going to be a go ball, hits the brakes, comes back, makes a nice hands catch. He really gets in and out of his breaks really clean, but he stays very vertical and doesn't give away where he's going to the defender, which I think is very key. He's easy to read. See, again, here he realizes it's an inverted cover too. He starts slowing down. The quarterback throws a bad ball. Honestly, Joe Burrow hits this. He's hit this before. We've seen him do it. Hit Tyle Boyd on this earlier in the year. But Charlie Jones sees it, throttles it down, gets open, and the guy misses him. Again, staying clean on these drag routes. He runs these drags and these crossers really, really well. Because you got to tie up the defender sometimes, and there's other times where it's like, I got to go underneath, or I got to split between the receiver and the corner that's chasing him and keep myself clean. And he got a quarters coverage, deep cut, and he finds a way to get open over the middle. That's what Jones does, though, a lot in this game. A lot of zone coverages, and he's beating them. And then you'll get a few man situations where you'll see one-on-one. We get a fade here in the end zone, and he draws the penalty on Joey Porter. As you can see here, Porter's going to grab him by the shoulder and really yank him down because I think Jones was coming back for this pretty well. We're going to get a nice close shot, HD shot real quick here. Takes the outside release. He's got him upfield, comes back for the back shoulder, and Porter's got his hands all over him. One of the reasons why I don't like Porter as much as some. Now Porter's up and press man here. He's not going to let him beat him on that slant like he did on that first play. So he's really got his hands on him. He's going to ride him. And Charlie Jones does a good job making this heavily contested grab. Minimal gain, but, you know, you got to trust, the quarterback's got to trust his receiver's going to get inside, fight inside, stay inside, and make that catch. And he does there. We got kind of a YOLO ball by the quarterback here, if you will, because I don't think Jones is ever really open. And man, the length of Joey Porter there versus Jones that really doesn't have much length really stands out in that play. Long, deep crosser, back of the end zone. He just got to stay clean, get open on the third window here because, like, first window, okay, maybe there. Nope, keep it going and get to the last one. Back of the end zone, keep your both feet in. And he does that. Touchdown, Charlie Jones, Purdue. Jones measured in at 5'11" and 3/8 tall, 175 pounds. He ran a 4.43. That's good for an 8.5 relative athletic score. and he catches a screen pass here. He's in the lower percentile for yards after catch, and I think I definitely saw that. He's not really going to make guys miss. He takes good angles, but he's not going to break any tackles either, which, sometimes that could be very beneficial for receivers, and especially if you're going to be a guy that's going to do screen passes. And again, situation here, bad ball on a YOLO ball. He can't fight back through. He's looking for a penalty. I don't think he ever gets it on that one. There was one play here that I couldn't tell if it was called on him or called on the defender. I kept it in here, but because there was one penalty called against him in this game, and I want to say it was an offensive pass interference. Anyways, contested situation, corner fights through it, gets the ball out. I don't think that ball is supposed to go to him. He's just doing the best he can there on that situation. Again, he's got a double move, man coverage. He's going to force this DB to grab him and hold him down. I like the way he tracks this ball, even though he can't pull it. And if you see here, it's right over the shoulder, right over the crown of the helmet. It's very tough to grab, but I found it interesting. I think the route's really clean, really crisp. Number 3 is really panicking there at that break point. I really like this route, how he stemmed it up and then cut it back inside to make sure he didn't contact that linebacker and then get to the second window. So that linebacker is going to wave his hand right in front too and doesn't bother Jones. I thought his concentration through contact, his concentration when a guy just flashes in front of him or a hand flashes in front of him, didn't really faze him, which I think is really key for a slot receiver because you're going to see that a lot. And it really didn't bother Jones. And again, here we got another drag route where he just runs away from the guy through traffic. He does that really well. Would have fit really well with, I think, the Chargers and the Jags offense as well. I like how he takes the inside release, stems it vertical, then cuts, really playing with that corner there. It's a really good route. Looks average because the guy's really not threatening at all in coverage, even though that's his man, number 4 there. Moving on to the next game, and this versus Wisconsin. You see him in the slot right there. He's going to run a little jerk route and then have to make a hands catch as he pulls away from the linebacker there. So he's going to give it to him and then break out of that route, make a hands catch as he's turning his body, spinning his body. He's going to have to do a lot of that in the slot. Against Wisconsin, he saw 13 targets. He caught 10 of those for 105 yards. He went over 1 in contested situations, 4 first downs, and a penalty against him again in this game. So we'll have to look for that and watch for that one. Jones one-on-one, kind of a press situation, go ball. I think he can get squeezed to the sideline a little bit too often on vertical routes. There was a lot of plays versus Joey Porter Jr. that I did not clip because the ball didn't go to him, but he's running vertically, and Porter squeezes him to the outside, and Jones never is able to get on top, fight through, get on top of him, like right there. And if you take too long or if you go all the way out wide to the boundary, well, then it's hard for the quarterback to lay that ball in there. It's hard for him to read you, and then you don't have enough room on the sideline left over, like you see right there. So he's got to be – that's why I think he's going to be in the slot. He's got to be in the slot. He's just not big enough, strong enough to really run that route and keep himself vertical. You either need elite speed at 5'11", 175, and he's got good speed, or you need to have the physical strength like a T. Higgins does to not get pushed so far to the boundary. Again, here he is getting pushed and shoved all the way to the boundary. Luckily enough, he's got great ball skills and awareness for the play. He's able to make the little back shoulder grab on this as the quarterback just gives him a ball anyway. But it is a theme in this game, and that's why I wanted to put the Wisconsin game on here, even though it's not his best game. He has 100 yards, of course, but there's a lot of these plays where he's getting squeezed to the sideline. He's just not big enough, not strong enough for it. But on the year, so Charlie Jones, 154 targets this year. 110 catches, 1,361 yards, and 12 touchdowns. He was 52% in contested situations. Highly, highly productive. Here's a play here on a screen where I think he's got bad vision or something's going on, because tell me he's not supposed to cut this to the right here? Why are you going all the way to the left? You got 3 blockers, 2 defenders. Thought he was a punt returner, right? So those are some situations where I saw after the catch where I'm like, okay, Charlie Jones, I don't know what your plan was there. I think he adjusts well to the ball, tracks the ball well, can high point for a smaller guy. Again, when you're smaller, though, you'll get pushed out of bounds, pushed towards the boundary, squeezed to the boundary, which is why I like him inside. So here he is inside here, right? Going to sit down versus zone, make the catch, turn upfield, sit down, be a slot receiver. That's what he does. And these are the type of plays he's going to run for the Bengals and why I think he's going to work really well with Joe Burrow. He's going to run the in-breaker from T. Higgins spot basically here, and he does well. You see how he gets around that second defender, the hook defender, and just right around his hip and turns, catches a ball over the middle. Contested situation, I think. I would say it is, even though they charged him 0 for 1 and contested in this game, which could have been any of these deep balls, I think. Here's another one where it's just, I mean, is the play ever there? Is it ever a situation where he should even throw this up to him? Jones just isn't that type of guy to throw it up. That's a YOLO ball to T. Higgins. If Joe Burrow's at quarterback, right, he's not going to throw that up to Charlie Jones. But here he is in the slot again. As he's stretching vertically, he understands windows. So when he starts to slow down and not run into the safety, he realizes, here's my second window. Let me slow down, face the quarterback, give him a target, give him an easy target, and make a play on it. Once they start respecting your speed on plays like this, you just run the quick hitch, make the play. But watch how he gets thrown out of bounds. So that's another thing about his strength and size. You'll see it in times like this. I didn't show any run blocking plays, but that's definitely an issue too. Sometimes he can get manhandled a little bit while he's blocking, especially bigger guys. So I think you see one here as well. He tries to come back and make the contested grab. Just isn't able to fight through, and there's a flag. But I want to say that was the one that was on him, actually, for fighting back through the corner. So out route, oh, he's covered. So then he stems it up. He's covered there. Quarterback yellow ball anyways. That's how we're going to finish the Charlie Jones video. Quarterback's like, screw it, I'm throwing it. And watch him make the play here. Tip, tip, and grab it. Very nice play. So Charlie Jones is 24 and a half years old at the time of the draft. He'll be a 25-year-old rookie. Super productive, though, man. Super productive. When you have 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns, he reminds me of, the Bengals have made this pick before, even though I think he's a better prospect. The Bengals picked Jordan Shipley in the 3rd round in 2010. He instantly hit the ground running. He was a slot receiver right away. He had 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns his final year as well. He was also a 25-year-old rookie during his rookie season. Second year, he tore his knee up in the second week, and we never heard from him again. Basically, that was the end of his career. He did play a couple more games, for other teams, but that was it. And Shipley had other injury concerns. He missed time at Texas in the previous years. So I don't think Charlie Jones has that. Charlie Jones has been nicked up a few times. He went to Buffalo, transferred, had to sit out a year, and went to Iowa. 2 years there, then transferred last year to go to Purdue, and then just lit it up. So maybe Charlie Jones stays healthy. And maybe he's Jordan Shipley, but with more speed and quickness, because Shipley didn't have that anymore at that time after a few knee injuries. If he's that, then he's going to be the heir apparent to Tyle Boyd, and he'll be the slot guy. And that's fine. If you only need a number 3 receiver, and you're not worried about him ever becoming a number 1, number 2, or a Pro Bowl guy, then forget the data. The tape says he'll be exactly that. And don't worry about it. But what does the data say? The data says there's been a lot of guys like this that are older, that have had 1 year of crazy production or just okay production in the range from like 800 to 1,500 yards. I looked at a lot of guys here. But with it coming at a late age, at 22, 23, 24 years old, is usually the death of your profile right then and there. It means you were running routes against guys that were 19 years old and couldn't handle you. You were too advanced. You were too much in your prime. You were a grown man. And that it doesn't translate as much to the NFL, because when you get there now, everyone's bigger, faster, stronger, and technically sound. Your advantages are now gone, unless you find a way to squeeze a little more juice out of the development, even though you're 25 years old. So it's tough. It's not a great list. There has been a few guys like Hunter Renfrow. If you draft Hunter Renfrow, are we happy? I think we are. 4th round. The only negative is that there were some other receivers that I liked that went after him that I could see having higher upside. But if the Bengals aren't worried about it, if they're saying, hey, we plan on keeping Higgins and Chase together, we just need Charlie Jones to be fast Trenton Irwin. Okay. And I think he'll be that. I think you guys are making a fine bet if that's what you're hoping for. So the data just says, hey, be cautious. He had 1 good year while he was 23, and then turned 24 during the year. be cautious. That's all it says. If he doesn't work out, that's why. But on tape, man, great routes, great hands, smart, in and out of breaks quick. Joe Burrow's going to love him. So both these guys, I was lower on. My spreadsheet was lower on than the consensus. And those were the reasons why. The data was just, they don't have Pro Bowl upside. They don't have impact player upside. But if you don't need that, then go ahead and make the pick. And some would argue with Joe Burrow, and it's a theory I'm starting to wonder about, because after watching Trenton Irwin and even Trent Taylor make plays and Samaje Perine, guys, if you would have asked me 2 years ago, are they worth anything? I would have said no. But when Burrow's on, they make plays around him. So maybe that's the Tom Brady thing, where he could just stick any slot receiver in there and they were producing for him. Any running back was producing for him. Guys that weren't valuable outside to the rest of the league, but they worked with Tom Brady. Maybe we can get to that point. Maybe it's something we just, or maybe just me, don't fully grasp or understand yet. I'm excited to figure it out. Charlie Jones, it says, don't target him in the draft, at least not until rounds like 5, 6, 7. Bengals picked late 4, so maybe they're okay there. But it does say, man, he's fun. And if he breaks the mold, which he has, it seems like he's overcome his entire career in college. Why not do it one more time? That's the Bengals' 2 picks that I have my biggest concerns with. The next episode will be the 2 guys I love the most, that I think are going to be starters and good starters for the Bengals. They got 2 of them. They might have gotten 3 or 4, but we'll get to that when we get there. That's Bengals on the Brain. That's our first review of the Bengals 2023 draft. I'm Joe Goodberry. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe here. Cincinnati Bengals Talk. We got you covered every day and everything Bengals.